We connect directly with our House of Assembly correspondent David Isong, who would be bringing us up to speed with Governor Moino, who is set to unveil the 2026 budget now. But the real story is in the trail he has left behind. That is reminding us of the promises of 2024, the consolidation agenda of 2025, and of course, the unexpected supplementary budget that stretched the fiscal outlook this year. To help us make sense of how those budgets performed and what they mean for 2026, House of Assembly correspondent David Isong joins us now with the details. David, hello. How are you? Good afternoon. David, if you can hear us, I'd like you to just give us some rundown, especially talking about the 2024-2025 budgets thus far, and how it has performed, especially when we look at the role the House of Assembly played in ensuring that it was passed. I'm sure David is still struggling to hear us, and would connect as much as possible.
We would like to first get to understand what that environment is like, because as at early this morning, I already saw security operatives driving towards that axis. And it's one thing to understand the environment, it's another to also understand the performance of the budget. We had the 2024 and we've had 2025, and there was a supplementary budget to that effect, with discussions on the governor's tour in the town square meetings and all other activities. There were requests and there were demands made.
And even the government had also promised that they were going to look at some of those demands and see how they can reflect those demands in the 2026 budget.
So we're looking forward to seeing how all of that will play out in the 2026 budget and what has been the performance so far in the 2025 budget, considering some of the activities that have been ongoing, some of the projects, like the construction of different roads and erection of different projects. We need to understand to what level has it gone. And then the governor recently made a statement about the Ibom Deep Seaport coming into reality. So we need to see how all of these have played out so far and what we should be looking forward to seeing in the 2026 budget. I don't know if David, you can hear us now. Good afternoon, David.
Yeah. Hello, Jenny.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jenny.
You can hear us. Well, before you got to the House of Assembly complex, what is it like out there and also inside when it comes to security and just the environment generally?
Well, as usual, the governor is expected to visit the State House of Assembly to present the 2026 budget. So it's expected that there is supposed to be beefed up security presence. As on our way here, we witnessed that the road leading to the assembly was beefed up with security presence. With I saw the bomb squad, I saw members of the Nigerian police force, the army, and of course the civil defense. And then getting into the complex, you have to go through a series of checks. Myself being a press corps member, I had to surrender my ID card for verification before I could get in. That goes to show that security presence here is top-notch. So then coming into the chambers, of course, there is heavy presence of security to screen and ensure that people who are coming in and out of the chambers are accredited as well. So the atmosphere here is serene and peaceful.
Okay, but now let's have an idea of the House of Assembly's activities for the 2025 budget. We understand that we are gradually winding down with the 2025 budget and preparing to receive the 2026 budget. The House of Assembly, what were their contributions towards the implementation of set out projects in the 2025 budget?
I would say quite a lot, actually. When the governor presented this budget last year of November, I think the budget was themed budget of expansion and consolidation. And the budget set out to address different issues across different sectors in the state. The budget was set up for 955 billion naira, and of course thereafter there was a supplementary budget of 655 billion. Adding that together, you get 1.6 trillion naira. And now in the aspect of implementation, the House did its best. The Committee on Appropriations, headed by Honorable Dr. Ettore Bangitem, invited ministries, Ministry of Finance and Economic Development, and there were series of hearings, series of budget defense, and of course they were able to, these commissioners, these ministries were able to speak to the benefit of different monetary allocations in different sectors and the benefit of it towards the Arise agenda of Pastor Moyeno. Now, still on the implementation and the impact, recall some months ago the House Committee on Health, chaired by Honorable Moses Isong, embarked on a tour around health facilities in the state, and what we discovered was amazing. You could see a lot of health facilities underdeveloped. You could see even patients unattended to. Why? Because maybe so they were high presence of no equipment. You could also see that most of these hospitals are underpaid. They do not receive enough funding from the allocations that the House of Assembly had approved, had passed, which the governor had signed. So all of these are made the state government to declare state of emergency in the health sector, and of course that was followed up. You can now, if you go to most of these secondary health facilities, you would see that there is high influx of cash there. This cash that was initially passed by the House of Assembly and then approved by the state government. So all of this came from the House of Assembly. And aside from their 2025 appropriation, we've had diverse bills coming from the executive, beginning from the Bulk Purchase Agency to the Asset and Infrastructure Bill, a whole lot of bills. And these bills are geared towards the development and prosperity of citizens in this state. So the House of Assembly have tried their best, not only in executive bills. We've had other bills, including the oil and gas bill, we've had the electricity bill, we've had the University of Education bill, we've even had security bill. A whole lot of bills that are geared towards bettering the livelihood of citizens in Akwa Ibom State. So for the 2026 budget, we are here to receive the governor of Akwa Ibom State. He is going to come, of course, with his entourage, accompanied by deputy governor and, of course, other members of his executive council, to present the budget to the Hallowed Chamber. And, of course, members of the House are already trooping in to ensure that the governor's presence is greatly felt.
All right, David.
In the Assembly today.
All right, David, thank you for that crisp analysis. But then I'd also like you to reflect on some of the oversights that have gone into the work of the House of Assembly, looking through the budget that the governor brings to the Assembly. Talking about performance now, would you say that you would rate the success rate high when we talk about budget themes and outcomes? How would you say that has really translated to performance in the case of the House of Assembly, looking at the oversights that you have been part of in the House of Assembly?
The House of Assembly, which came in June 2023, one of the key mandates they promised Akwa Ibomites is effective representation, and I dare say that they have tried to keep up to that standard, right? During the months of August and October, I personally joined an oversight team to visit some special projects executed by the state government. One of those projects was Victor Atta International Airport, the international terminal that was being built by the former governor of the state, and also other facilities, other equipment. All of this have been oversighted by the House of Assembly, specifically the Committee on Special Projects and also the Committee on Education. The committee is chaired by Right Honorable Kenny Monofiok. She has visited several schools in Akwa Ibom State, and one of the issues was the issue of unavailability of teachers, right, to man the schools. And I recall there was the Commissioner for Education and, of course, the Head of Civil Service were invited and asked, why don't we have enough teachers in our schools? And, of course, the governor gave a directive for the recruitment of over 3,000 teachers into the state civil service and then distributed across different schools in the state. All this is all because of the oversight function of these of members of the Assembly. And also going into electricity sector, the House Committee on Power received a bill for the enactment of the state electricity bill. And of course, the state government held a public event where memorandums were gathered. Stakeholders came and they gave their views about the benefit of establishing the Akwa Ibom State electricity law. And of course, that law saw the light of the day to plenaries. Had several bills, including the bill for successive transfer of powers. Bills have been strongly oversighted. You'd have committees go out to oversight some of these government agencies and ensure that the monies that are being approved, that are being passed by the House of Assembly, are judiciously used for the benefit of Akwa Ibom citizens.
David, there's usually this aspect of discussion on rubber stamp House of Assembly. And we've seen that a number of items or bills sent in by the executive usually goes through with the House of Assembly. With your review or looking at the House of Assembly, would you term them as a rubber stamp House of Assembly?
To be objective, there are some times where, plenary is earmarked to be held on Tuesday, for instance, today, and then we come out for plenary and it's happening somewhere. They expected to join, and then automatically plenary is cancelled, right? So, okay, where is the autonomy, where is the supremacy of assembly? Aside from that, I believe the cordial between the state legislature and the executive is quite mutual. Go to occasions, and of course you see the speaker sitting right next to the governor of the state. Also, any form of recognition, any form of event, the Speaker of the House of Assembly is given his recognition.
David.
So I don't think there is any form of, every member of the House of Assembly is doing their bits because they owe their constituencies the responsibility of
David,
and I dare say that they are trying to do that.
Okay, David.
The House of Assembly, I wouldn't say they are rubber stamp.
Thank you very much, David.
David.
And of course, with the indicators for the 2024-2025 budget, we're hoping that 2026 would indeed hold positives for the Akwa Ibom people.
We're especially capturing the demands made during the town square meeting.
Which is, of course, would reflect the human side of what the government is doing, listening to, of course, the demands of the people and where they need intervention the most.
Oh, by the way, and David, thank you very much for keeping us up to speed. And we definitely would bring in and we'll also capture the activities of the governor during his presentation of the budget on ADBN TV.
Thank you, David Isong, for your time and company on this segment.
You're welcome, Savior.
Thank you.
With that, we've come to the end of Niger Delta today. Many thanks for watching. Remember to stick with the dial ADBN TV. We'll be bringing you all the details regarding the presentation by Governor Omoina for the 2026 budget. My name is Xavier Robert, wishing you a terrific Tuesday.
And I am Jennifer Pius. Thanks for being a part of the show. Do have a great day.